looking over Santa Monica, a lot has changed for me. I used to come here, I used to try to do these videos to get rich, to get famous. Looking over LA, it made you feel like everything was possible. And for a moment, everything was possible. I sit and I contemplate looking out through the beach, and I'm just saying, why, God? I was so upset with God. I was so upset with myself. I was just so upset in general, and I didn't understand why a lot of the stuff was going wrong in my life. I had a great job. It was paying me thousands of dollars a month. It ended up crumbling my YouTube channel. It just ended up crumbled. I had an entertainment channel. And it seems like every time I kept progressing and getting farther in my life, in terms of the YouTube, in terms of being rich, I would always feel like I was one step up, and then as soon as I'm about to take that final step and get there, it just all comes down. And it just made me start realizing maybe that's not what I need in my life. Maybe I need freedom. Usually I'd walk down this Santa Monica pier and I just find the most beautiful woman I could find, and then I would try to get her to do a video with me. And now that I sit back and I take a step back and realize it, you know how empty that was? And how much you limited life to? What about what you want to experience? What about what you want to see? What about all the beautiful stuff you could obtain? You can't just limit your life and limit God to just finding beautiful women and putting them on camera and getting money from that. There's more to life than that. Maybe it wasn't for me. Maybe all that type of lifestyle, the extravagant parties, the extravagant women with fake butts, so much money you can't even spend it. Maybe that wasn't for me. Maybe I was meant to live a more free and peaceful life. Because I'm going to be honest, with that high-paying job, it was heavy energy. I had just done a meeting in Malibu for a $10 million home. And honestly, after that, it just felt draining. I felt exhausted. I felt like there was so much baggage attracted to it. And so much, it just aged me. As soon as I got back to my house, I realized I had been aged. It was like I felt like I was 40 years old. And I realized a 22-year-old should not be living like that. 22-year-olds shouldn't be focused on $10 million homes. They shouldn't be focused on getting as rich as possible and getting as many beautiful women as possible. Because in reality, it's just going to take the meaning of life out of you. Life is meant for exploring. The truth of the matter is, if it was meant for you, you would have found it. It would have found you. It doesn't have to be this struggling, constant battle to obtain it. And that's one thing I had to start realizing about life. Life is supposed to be free-flowing, and everything's supposed to flow into the next. It's not supposed to be a constant to obtain it. Yeah, there's supposed to be resistance, but it's supposed to flow in a way. And if your life isn't flowing, it's probably because you're not doing the right thing. But it took me a long time to realize that. But hey, I'm only 22 years old, so how long did it really take me? Now I'm not worried about fancy clothes, fancy cars. Of course, I still want to be rich, but it's for a different reason now. I want to be free more than anything. Free of this negative, dark energy that surrounds being famous and rich and all that. I look at my last $100 and I say, what can I do with this? What business and what idea can I put into this that has nothing to do with being a rich, famous person and just wanting to do everything for money and girls and self-indulgence? This $100 bill is supposed to be the American dream. It's supposed to represent freedom, opportunity. And here I am hoping that this last $100 can turn me into somebody important. That's all I was ever looking for, I'm going to be honest. Somebody important. That's all I ever wanted to be. Just somebody whose life meant something. And I knew my life meant something without this $100, without this a million times. I always knew that. I knew I meant having good energy and being a good person meant stuff. I always knew that. But at the same time, man, you have such a young brain and you're so young in this world, a lot of stuff starts to consume you. And you can't just think for yourself sometimes. Sometimes the only thing that's thinking for you is Ben Franklin's head or this note in this blue strip. That's all that clouds your mind sometimes at this young age. But you know what? I'm going to invest this in a way that is going to bring me freedom throughout the world. Not because being rich and famous and having 1 million subscribers and doing all this girl content ain't going to bring me freedom. And it's not going to bring me everlasting stuff. It's going to bring heavy energy on me and burdens. I'm going to invest this in something that will allow me to be free throughout this world.